Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Let's Jaliawala. Let's is leadership, enterprise, and technology. I have somebody very special. He represents all three keywords: leadership, enterprise, and technology. He himself has been at the forefront of Pakistan software houses, so many of them, and there is a representative body called Pasha, which he has led as the chairman in the past. He himself represents a company called Vizteck, good 11 years of doing this, from app development to many IT solutions. He calls himself a sales and marketing specialist and has some fantastic ideas around how we can foster many more enterprises, and not just the software houses or the tech enterprises. All enterprises will become tech enterprises sooner or later. And number three, technology, very self-explanatory, applies to him more than any other guest that we have had on this show. Thank you very much, Barkan, for taking
Thank
out
you,
time
Umair, for
and
having
being
me
with
here.
us. So there's one profile that I present, which is when I read it off your LinkedIn or what is on the web. But I'm very curious to find out, how do you define yourself?
Right. So I define myself as it's a very difficult question how you define yourself.
Yes. We know it,
But
that's why we put it in there.
definitely. So I define myself as someone who wants to outdo himself, who wants to see what we can do in this limited lifetime that we have. And previously, yes, in the last 8-10 years, it was more about myself. But now that I grow older, it's turning into what we can do for the community around us, what we can do for the world, and just the ability, just seeing what I, or as myself as a person, what value I can add. So that is the most important. That is, I think, how I would define myself, as a small guy looking to see what I can do in this world.
It's true, but kind of a lot of people would say, when you are at this level, you can afford to say it. But it's, I think, also the realization at this level is that the more you give, the more you're able to get. Do you believe so? When we are entering, with wherever we go, whether it's a meeting or it's a work that we pick up, if we have this mandate of contribution, then we are able to sort of fulfill our own needs on the way as well.
I 200% believe on it, because when you are running after things, they get away from you. But when you are looking to, for example, one of my teachers told me that if you are at a networking event, if you want to get the most out of it, you do for others, you introduce others, you see what value you can give to others, and then people will automatically see how they can help you. So when you have that helping attitude for the world, and this is something that our religion tells us as well, that if you, even God tells you that if you spend in his way, you will get 70% right back. Maybe you want to do it for his raza or his khushi, but that is something that you will automatically get. So I am a hardcore believer in it, that once you become selfless, and once you start doing things for others, opportunities and people start running after you. It's up to you then that you want to claim those opportunities or not. So I'm a firm believer in this.
Yeah. Since you are a software specialist, I'd give you a software question here. Just like our computers have an operating system, and we know that determines how much we're able to leverage the hardware, what all can we install, what all can we make happen. We all have our own operating system as well, and a lot of trainers like me would say that this is our belief system. I want to explore that with you. What is the operating system here? What are the core beliefs that make all the other ideas work for you? Yeah.
Yes. So I think one of the core beliefs is that I have to be uh, honest, and wherever I go, and selfless. I think this is the core thing that drives me. That you, whatever comes onto you, you work on it with the full honesty, full dedication, and try to be as selfless as possible, and try to see what value you can add through that to others. And that can be anything. It can be your business, when you are in the job doing the work. If you are honest to it, if you are selfless about it, if you can add value, when you are at, for example, sitting in a government board, and you are tasked with something big, if you have these core beliefs that are driving you, I think you can add much more value to the world. This is, I think, my core belief system. डेफिनेटली इंसान है, नफ्स तो चल रहा होता है साथ साथ, बट you try to fit that in wherever you can, and you try to run by those beliefs. And I think then things become really easy for you as well, because then
Sure. As a young person, how I'd listen to my teachers talking about the same ideas, and it's when you're young, you want to make a lot and you want to make it big, and so there's a race going around, and I think all of us have been part of it in some form. Let's admit to that. It starts making sense much later on as to what is it that really matters. But I think how I have cracked it is, you could either ask for all of it, and it's a small ship that you're asking all from, or you could envision a bigger ship, and even getting a piece of that is far bigger than having 100% of something small, when we think about our bigger journeys. But I'm curious to know that with this selfless attitude, honest attitude, and having gone through so much, how would you define success now?
success for me is no more material things. It's no more having anything that is material. It's more about how you impact people, how you impact, how you bring around, how you change lives, basically, how you add value to others. If, like I mentioned, what drives me or how I describe myself is something you want to outdo yourself, something's how you can outdo yourself every day. And when you outdo yourself, the success that comes off from it, and then you have a bigger purpose, that you want to do something that is better for the world. I mean, there have been kings who had everything in life. They could just do like this and they could get it. So, and there are many people around me, and definitely 1 year journey as a pasha, I have seen fame, I have seen not I'm not very famous as in somebody like maybe somebody very successful, but alhamdulillah, you get that success. And then you realize, and you see powerful people, you sit with powerful people, you sit with people with money, all the money in the world, and then you realize that this is not success. Success is really something else, and success is how you impact people's life by living this journey. So that is, I think, when I look back, when I am old, I think success would for me would not be whether I was able to create $1 billion enterprise, और वो जो हर स्टार्टअप की ड्रीम होती है ना, एक $1 बिलियन कंपनी, इलॉन मस्क बनना है और ये
बन जाए, महीने में बन
मार्क
जाए।
जुकरबर्ग बनना है। तो मेरा वो कोई नहीं है। बेशक आई मे बी डू नॉट डू समथिंग सिग्निफिकेंट इन लाइफ, बट वट एवर आई डू that had some impact on the people around me, that would be success for me.
ये सवाल सिलेबस से बाहर का है, ये बात आपने सुनी होगी। और मैं सिर्फ इस एब्स्ट्रैक्ट गुफ्तगू पे ज़रा मिसाल चढ़ाना चाहता हूँ। आई कांट हेल्प इट, आई नीड टू गिव अ स्टोरी।
जी।
सो व्हेन यू से सक्सेस इज दिस, इज द इम्पैक्ट, give me one person who you admire and who you see have been able to create that kind of impact. One person you look up to. It could be anyone, from work, from somebody around you.
I think there are many people. अभी recently मैं एक I am in a phase actually where all these thoughts are very new to me. So I'm exploring myself again as a person. So recently I was I was reading a story on a guy. He was the guy who actually gave loan to Pakistan, gave money to Pakistan when Pakistan was formed to run its affair. I think his name was he was running a company called Baiko, I think. And he said this, that it's not about the money that you make. He owned one of the biggest companies in Pakistan. इस लेवल की कंपनी थी कि जापान और चाइना वाले अपने ट्रेनिंग के लिए यूज टू मेक इंजन्स, एयरक्राफ्ट पार्ट्स, लोग भेजते थे उसके पास. नहीं वॉज अ पाकिस्तानी, नो बडी रिमेंबर्स. मुझे अच्छी बात नहीं है कि आई एम सो मच इम्प्रेस्ड बाई हिम एंड डोंट रिमेंबर हिज नेम. ही वॉज चौधरी समथिंग. एंड but what he said was very important, that money is not everything, but how much you create wealth for your nation and how many jobs you create for that nation, your nation. I think that is something that impressed me, कि when we are working as a company, आजकल स्टार्टअप में भी ये एटीट्यूड है ना कि यार बनाओ, बेच दो, एंड अगर चीज़ प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं है तो लेट इट गो. बट देन यू रियलाइज़ कि प्रॉब्ली ये चीज़ ज़्यादा ज़रूरी, इससे ज़्यादा चीज़ ज़रूरी है कि बेशक आप एक कोई ऐसी कंपनी बनाएं जो $1 मिलियन रेवेन्यू कर रही है और आपको उसमें से शायद $10,000 बच रहे हैं साल के. बट इफ़ यू आर एबल टू क्रिएट so many jobs out of it, then just keep it running, keep that platform running. You don't have to worry about just yourself. So I am always, I think, on the lookout for people who are selfless, who are who have done things more than their own
Their own
self,
needs, yeah.
and they get out of uh, their personal whatever they are running after, and they are able to do something bigger.
Sure, sure. I mean, to make all of this happen, we have the time that we do. So, what is your day like? And in that, what disciplines have you embraced? And when I mean discipline, it's things that we maybe don't want to do, but we force ourselves to, and we condition ourselves to do regularly, consistently to make it happen. So, what are the big chunks of the day, and what are your disciplines?
So definitely first in the morning, early morning, I get time to think what I have to do in the day.
Oh, that's something that I've found in all the people who've come in that morning slot. We've got to map the day as to where we are.
That's, I think, very important, because if you have to know what you spend your day, because then it just goes on and you don't know what you have achieved out of it. You have to either the day night before sit down. So I am a very very aggressive tasks guy. I put on my tasks. Initially, when I started doing it a couple of years ago, 4 5 years ago, I mean, I have a task list for every day. This is what I have to do this day. So initially, when I started to do it, was more about doing. Now it's becoming more about what is the most important thing, and just let's see the junk out of it. And I'm making sure that it's the important thing. But sometimes I've also seen that sometimes some things may not look important for you. Sometimes, for example, there is an investor out here who wants to meet somebody, and you have to go meet with him. It might not go into something useful, but you have to do it. So वो ईगो को भी साइड पे रखना पड़ता है कि यार ठीक है, अपने आप को इतनी बड़ी चीज़ ना समझना शुरू कर दो कि आपको कि मेरा टाइम बड़ा कीमती है, सो आई हैव टू ओनली गिव इट टू द राइट थिंग्स. Sometimes out of as long as you think this thing is aligned with the main purpose of your life, it may make sense in the bigger picture.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. Instead of being transactional about every activity, looking at the overall purpose and seeing how it shapes you. Because a lot of successful people would not just say that I did the work at the right time. It's also the other things that they were able to do in the same time that
Yes.
takes them places. But please go on. What else do you include in the day and the disciplines?
So that's mainly it. Whatever, when I set the task in the day, then I go on executing. I am a very workaholic guy, but I try to keep 1 or 2 hours for just like thinking, and try to keep reading some books. Pasha, being in Pasha was it changed me a lot because it became too exhausting. Now, before that, I always used to read around 4 to 5 books in a month. I used to walk or exercise regularly. Now I'm trying to go back to it. So it's these days it's another struggle to going back to it, reading books, because uh, books give you the energy to basically, it gives you the वो कोई ना कोई बुक बीच में ऐसी आ जाती है जो आपको धक्का मारती
That's
है.
the fuel to go on the high.
That's the fuel, exactly. So that's what I am trying to again get self discipline. But again,
And I like how honest you are that you were into it and then got busy and getting back into it.
Yes.
This is plastic. A lot of people believe it's not, but
Yes.
it molds itself to what we pick up.
Yes.
Great. Please go on.
So that's it, and then definitely try to spend some time with the family at the night. I have 2 young daughters and a boy, so he's also 1 year
Do
old.
they get a lot of screen time?
I try to not give them a screen time. We try to give them basically colors, pencils, so that they we just give them
असली हकीकी दुनिया में भी जरा
asli
साथ रहे.
it's very very important. I think the challenge of the next generation is going to be how they stay away from these distractions, and they learn so much from the YouTube that it's become another tarbiyat channel. आपको आपकी अपनी तरबियत या तो आप इतनी स्ट्रांग करेंगे, यू कैन ओवरकम ऑल that's coming through that, but you can't control it.
And that the piece where we left about your children, about your family, also links with our next question. And not just relationships are not just limited to family, but of course we as human beings, relationships are fundamental to our survival and to how we navigate through this world. How have you looked at relationships? What do they mean to you?
Well, I think, like you said, relationships are the most important thing in life. If you take the relationships out of everything, whatever you are doing, whatever purpose yes, you may have a much bigger purpose. You become Edie Saab or you become Mother Teresa, where the relationships of the world don't matter, and then everybody becomes your brother or everybody becomes your sister. We are not that. We are simple human beings. So relationships, without, I think, having good friends, without having a good relationship with your family, your mother, your children, your wife, your children, and having a lot of real relationships in the world. When I say real relationships, because when you go out there, there are a lot of artificial relationships as well, especially the ones that we have on Facebook. But I believe that the only thing in life that we have is time, and good relationships is giving them time, giving them, having coffee with them, discussing with them, and investing your time in them, is no matter how big you become. And that's what our children need, that's what our wives need, that's what our
That's what
parents
our
need.
clients need. That's what our team members need.
Exactly,
Yes.
that's what our team members need. So investing in the right relationships, and definitely finding out which are the real ones, which are just because of your position, which are just because of your which are your real friends who really. And definitely the most important element of any good relationship is caring for that person. If you remove care out of the equation, then it's just nothing. It doesn't mean anything. और आपके पास अगर ज़िंदगी में अच्छे relationship, you don't want to be a guy who is 60-year-old and who probably was very successful, did something but has no relationships around him. मैं अक्सर सोचता होता हूँ कि शायद ज़िंदगी में 4 चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. एक आपकी फैमिली, आपकी रिलेशनशिप्स, दूसरी आपकी सेहत, तीसरा आपका जो पर्पस, बिजनेस, जो भी आप कर रहे हैं, एंड फोर्थ इज़ योर रिलीजन. You have to balance all these things out. If you just do if you make a lot of money and you have no religion, no sehat, or no family, no relationship, then it does, the life probably won't mean anything. एंड शायद रिलीजन ही ऐसी चीज़ है जिसमें आप बहुत आगे निकल जाएं तो चलें कोई फ़ायदा है, बट बाकी चीज़ों में बाकी चीज़ें जो हैं वो डिफरेंट हैं.
Fascinating. I'd like you to tell us 3 stories from your wide experience. Any 3 stories that are moving, that have inspired you, that you like to share with our people.
Yes. One story that impacted me was that I went to there is a Khatun called Jannatul Firdaus. She has returned from UK, and she's about 75 years old, and she's running a school in Bharaku, 17 Mil, and she came to Pakistan and basically just wanted to do something for the poor children, and she set up a small school, and started teaching children. So I remember going to her around 7 years ago. Some friend took me, okay, Barkan bhai, let me take you there. I went there on a Saturday, and I was there. तो एक तो ये था कि मैंने उन्हें कहा कि आई ऑलवेज वांट टू डू समथिंग. जब मैं बूढ़ा हो जाऊंगा, ज़िंदगी में जो मैंने अपने गोल सेट किए हैं वो मैं कमा लूँगा, सारा कुछ कर लूँगा. तो एट दैट 7 years, उस 7 साल पहले की बात है. तो आई विल प्रॉब्ली सेट अप समथिंग फॉर टीचिंग द यूथ. कोई उनको ट्रेनिंग, कोई किस तरह काम, तो मैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, जिस तरह सोशल कॉज. तो उन्होंने मुझे कहा कि बेटा 25 साल वेट क्या करना है, तुम्हारा अपना स्कूल है, अभी से स्टार्ट कर दो, अभी से इसमें काम करना शुरू कर दो. तो दैट बेसिकली टच्ड मी टू द हार्ट कि यार वाकई, वाई शुड आई वेट फॉर, अभी से इफ़ आई कैन डू समथिंग, वाई डू आई नीड टू वेट फॉर. पता नहीं, अब तो सोचता हूँ कि पता नहीं इतनी ज़िंदगी होगी भी कि नहीं, लेकिन जवान जब बंदा होता है तो बंदा कहता है पता नहीं शायद उसने 100 साल और ज़िंदा रहना है. तो that piece moved me, and then I started going there every Saturday since then, and now my wife is taking care of that school with her. It has now, उस वक्त मेरे ख्याल है 50-60 बच्चे थे. now they have 500 children studying free of cost. उसमें तकरीबन 100 एक ऑर्फन बच्चे हैं, और इट्स अ बिग सेटअप. यानी कि बच्चों का खाना पीना, उनकी घरों का राशन वगैरह भी स्कूल से जाता है. तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, आई हैव बीन कंट्रीब्यूटिंग इन दैट. आई डिड नॉट, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, थैंक्स टू गॉड फॉर गिविंग मी.
But what a great advice, this your school, just start out.
Exactly.
I've heard Master Ayub say the same. The child came in and I said, just sit down, I'll get going with this.
Let's just get going with it. And I think the second thing from that school was, उसी स्कूल की स्टोरी में एक चीज़ थी कि मैं जब पहली दफ़ा वापस गया, अगले हफ्ते तो गया, तो मैं बच्चों के लिए कुछ ना बॉल और बैट ले गया। तो उस बॉल और बैट को जो वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट मिला कि उन्होंने उसको खेला ब्रेक में और प्रॉपर ला के, तो मैंने कहा यार वाह, ये 1,000 रुपये जो हैं ये किस तरह किसी की लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं। और हमारे बच्चे जो हैं, उस वक्त मेरे बच्चे नहीं थे, हमारे बच्चे जो हैं वो तो महीनों में 4-4 5-5 हज़ार के टॉयस जो हैं शायद उनको ले दें तो दे शायद माइट नॉट बी इवन थैंकफुल एट द एंड। तो हाउ थैंकफुल दे आर, एंड आई थिंक द लेसन वॉज कि वेर एवर यू आर इन लाइफ, अल्लाह ने आपको जो एबिलिटी दी है, मुझे आपको जो भी एबिलिटी दी है, कुछ भी दी है, अगर मुझे मैथ भी पढ़नी आती है ना, we always have the potential to give back. We, we always have the potential to do something for the world. We don't need to be Idi, we don't need to be these big guys. Wherever we are, we can give back. So
And that's how they started as well. It's only about, who's
exactly
able to give
200%,
back. Wow.
200%.
Give me another story.
So the second story was related to business. 4 years ago, I was really at a low point in my business. I had no idea. And this is to do with the changing technological world where we used to get business 4 years ago in a different way, and it was through portals and Elance or Upwork or whatever, right? And we had some dedicated clients, but I was a really low point where I could not figure out what to do, and I was really, really at a low position. And at that point, I decided that I need to change my life. I need to do something. I realized उस वक्त बंदा ये भी सोच रहा होता है कि यार अगर मुझे अभी जॉब करनी पड़ी तो मैं किस काबिल हूँ, because we become CEOs by not by selection but by we just became CEO के कंपनी शुरू की,
Start a
40 बंदों की
company or
कंपनी
see
चाह
your day
हुई,
one, yes.
100 बंदों की कंपनी हो गई तो become, but we are not, are we really qualified for that position? तो मैंने तो ये भी सोचना शुरू कर दिया कि यार मुझे और कोई CEO रखेगा, right? So the way I reacted to that situation was I started reading books, I started meeting people, I started just उसी वक्त I started a group which was basically 100 CEOs CXO level group जिसमें हम लोग हर महीने एक दफ़ा मिलते थे, and we decided to basically talk to each other. And I was one of the most shy person. Now I'm one of the most probably connected person in the IT industry. At that time I had no friends in the IT industry, nobody knew me. Now probably everyone in the IT industry knows me at least कि ये बंदा कोई है. So that the and I think the books also had a huge part in, and I started reading books. I started listening to trainers as well. I think पहली किताब थी शायद Zig Ziglar की.
Yeah, Zig Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar, yes. And those guys, I mean, I found out कि यार ये book जो है ये मैंने अगर 6 साल पहले पढ़ी होती तो मैं क्या करता. And that time I realized the value. So that downtime actually made me realize. And I think the second thing was can never be in your comfort zone. Because when I was in my comfort zone, when I had all the money coming, great clients, dedicated business coming, and you just slip out of your comfort zone. कि बस अब तो जिंदगी set है, सब कुछ बन गया है, कोई tension नहीं है. So that was the second biggest learning of my life. Can never stay in your comfort zone. Whenever you are in your comfort zone, think that day कि यार what can you do more. ठीक है, that time introduces fear in you, and it took me some time to overcome that fear, because in the long run fear is not good for you. It limits you as a person, because fear of failure and fear of reaching that point again actually is the one that pushes you out of the comfort zone. So but again the balance is very, very important.
It's a function of your imagination, your fear, and you could imagine anything. It could also be on the other side. It could give you a whole lot of confidence, being able to see yourself do things. I just catch on to this because I'm sure with you a lot of people who are watching are from the IT industry, and I think just like you have transformed yourself in the process, and you're still somebody who seems to be on a journey. There is more coming. It's not over, and I say that there are no full stops, only commas.
Yes.
I think part of it is also true where such experiences, it's a training experience, your mind training, learning these essential life skills, they're essential for everyone, and everyone needs a bit of that somewhere in their life, whether it comes from the family or it comes from the schooling. It's great. You mentioned books, and I'm curious to find out what 3 books would you recommend to the people watching, and also your why for the 3 books that you recommend.
Yes. So the first book is Start With Why of Simon Sinek.
Start With Why, Simon Sinek. Yes.
I think that's an important book that I read early on, and it most of the time we are doing things again not knowing why we are doing it, and you have to put a why to everything that you do.
So
So
not just the what's in the house, which is what we are stuck on most of the time.
we are stuck on most of the time on, I think we do 80% of the time we spend is the time that on things that does not we don't need to spend. So I think that is the one book I
So
would
start with Why by
start with, by
Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek, yes. And the second book is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a book. He's inspired by previous Greek philosophers like, and even Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he basically writes about why ego is the thing that can be most damaging in your life, how it prevents you, how it builds a shell around you, how it makes you blind when you are at the top, and how it's an enemy of the leadership skill, because once you have ego people stay away from you. You can never be probably a level 5 leader or a humble leader, or you cannot lead anyone. And I see that now, and a lot of having been around so many people with a lot of egos, I see how it becomes their enemy. So I think that is a good book that I read early on, so I would highly recommend that book. And the third book is it's that book probably was more like it told me what I do. मैं क्या हूँ कहते हैं define yourself, तो मुझे मैं उसको पढ़ता गया तो मैंने कहा हाँ ये वो है Tribes by Seth Godin.
Seth Godin,
Yes,
Tribes.
Stripes. So I'm never good
Yes,
with
you'd
names.
like that as a marketer, of course. You'd like that as a marketer.
Yes.
Yes.
Interestingly, I was expecting something else. He's a big marketing guy, so but he wrote about something totally different, which was कि there are people वो जो एक ना जिसको आप किसी भी डेड जगह में डाल देना तो दे स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग मूवमेंट. आप उनको किसी डेड व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डाल दें, दे विल से कि यार ये क्यों डेड है, लेट्स हरकत जो है ना वो इसमें क्यों नहीं है. तो I think I'm also that guy. So I go into things and I say कि यार ये why is it dead?
Create some momentum.
Create some momentum. Not that Pasha was dead, but Pasha was very much alive. But I went into a lot of things and I said कि यार ये क्यों ऐसे है? Let's just start moving it. Let's just move it. So I think the future belongs to those people who are basically the moment creators.
Yes. And I think that also connects with the second book that you've recommended. It's only when we have less ego that we are able to put ourselves out there for, because it involves a lot of judgment, taking initiative, and the chances of failing, it's risk. My last question to all the guests has been 3 ideas about Pakistan. And I know when I ask you this question, you've represented the Pakistan IT industry for quite a bit. So yeah, 3 ideas for Pakistan.
I think the biggest and the most important thing for us as a nation right now is to invest in our human capital. We are, I think, at a point where the world is changing, and you definitely, whenever आप किसी टेक्नोलॉजी से आजकल बात करेंगे तो वो कहेगा जी फोर्थ इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन है और सब कुछ है. But I think our people have a lot of potential, and if we invest in them, in training them, taking them to the next level, I think we can see phenomenal and huge returns from our nation. अभी मैं एक जर्मन एम्बेसडर हमारे जो पाकिस्तान के हैं जो जर्मनी को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं पाकिस्तान में, so he was at a talk and he said the same thing exactly, that after the World War, the one thing that we did as a nation was invest in our human capital. And I think if we do, this is the right time. If we start doing that, it will take us to the next level. दूसरी चीज़ जो IT इंडस्ट्री के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से है, आई थिंक पाकिस्तान को आई थिंक नेक्स्ट लेवल पे लेके जाने के लिए अभी हमें कोई ये जो हमारी IT इंडस्ट्री है, इट इज़ अ ह्यूज पोटेंशियल, बट इट इज़ लिमिटेड बाय कि अभी हमारे पास इवन इस्लामाबाद में कोई ऐसी IT सिटी IT जोन नहीं है जहाँ पे जो हम बना दें. स्पेशली अभी आप कोई बंदा आएगा बाहर से आएगा तो उसको आप कहाँ लेके जाएंगे? प्रॉब्ली यू ओनली हैव NIC और 2-3 अदर प्लेसेस वेयर यू टेक देम कि ये देख लें अरफा टावर कि ये हमारी IT इंडस्ट्री है. आप एक जोन बना दें जहाँ पे दैट सपोज ये धरने हो रहे हों, जो मर्जी हो रहे हो, इट इज़ नॉट अफेक्टेड बाय दैट. वहीं पे घर हों, वहीं पे IT कंपनीज़ हों, वहाँ पे पाकिस्तान की बड़ी कंपनीज़ आएँ, वहीं पे ट्रेनिंग सेंटर्स हों, ताकि वहीं के लोग जो हैं वो आपकी यूथ को ट्रेन करें, जिस तरह फिलीपींस ने किया. वहीं पे बड़ी बड़ी जोन्स बना के उन्होंने वहीं पे ट्रेनिंग सेंटर्स बनाए हुए हैं जहाँ पे लोग रेगुलरली ट्रेन होते रहते हैं.
It needs that kind of focus, physically as well as through the ecosystem coming
वो
together.
आपको इकोसिस्टम बनाना है, वहीं पे आपके इंक्यूबेटर्स हों, वहीं पे आपके एक्सपो सेंटर्स हों.
Yeah.
And you have these lure all these big companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, IBM into those zones कि भाई यहाँ पे सेटअप लगाएं और आपकी प्राइवेट कंपनीज भी वहाँ पे सेटअप कराएं. तो आई थिंक इन एवरी बिग सिटी वी कैन टेक इट टू अ होल न्यू लेवल. सो
Anything else for Pakistan? We asked for 3, you've given 2. I'm happy with 2.
You're
The
happy
big
with 2?
ones.
आई थिंक अभी थोड़ा सा हमें चीज़ों की तरफ, that's more for the decision makers, is that we have to be a bit more proactive rather than reactive. कि कोई चीज़ आती है फिर भी देखते हैं. We have to start thinking what kind of opportunities are there for our nation to tap into as a big planning mindset कि भाई हमने क्या करना है, इस कौम को क्या देना है. So I think that's very very important that we get into a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach.
It's a big one.
It's I think I have worked with a couple of government departments, and I see the institutions have definitely weakened to a very different level, and we don't have any big idea of what we want to do as a nation. We are not moving into any direction. We are just handling things. We are just firefighting all the time. So
And happy that we are surviving.
We are
Instead
actually
of, aiming for that big growth which is possible.
I think we are just surviving. That's what we are doing.
And then from this, I also extract that economic opportunities, eyeing those, those are the big drivers for the engine that we call a country.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
What
you
a
very
lovely set of ideas. It's been a pleasure
Same here. Thank you very
knowing
much
so
for
many
having
things from you. This is Barkan, and if there's any website that you'd like people to visit, if there's any call to action, please go ahead so that people can join you, can find out more about this.
Nothing at this time. It's just my Facebook page where I post things. So just follow me on Facebook.
Yeah, do find out more ideas from Barkan directly from his Facebook. And thanks a lot. Until next time.